Hi guys, welcome back to another quick card pull. This is being filmed on Sunday, July 12th, 2026. Today we're pulling from the Golden Foil Tarot cards. Mercury Kazemi is today, so if you have time, light your candle and invoke that in. If you want to do any candle magic, it's up to you if you want to bring that in or not. I just remembered, I completely forgot again, but something if you want to invoke. We're starting with the Nine of Cups, so we're, and it is, what I mean, with Mercury retrograde, it does kind of bring in like energies and stuff like that, so it's just like reminding you like everything is lining up beautifully. You're getting ideas, you're growing where you want to expand, and it's just like wherever, like they say, you could feed your mind. Either you could grow weeds or you could grow flowers. You know what I mean? It's like what we put into our mind. And a lot of people will say you're full of it, you're this, you're that. You know what I mean? A lot of people will discourage you from working, and putting your energies into these things because they don't want to see you grow. But it's just like you do what you want to do. You want to see yourself grow there, like even like through this Pluto retrograde. And I feel like it was like when it was like pre-retrograde energy for Mercury. It was like, what happens if we do this for 30 years and then we're in the same spot? I'm like, well, I guess we'll never know unless we try, right? Am I going to sit there and sit on the what ifs in the next 30 years? Anything can happen. So it's just like, you know what? It makes sense. I love what I do. You know what I mean? I want to keep on growing in my healing abilities, and that's where I'm going to keep putting my energy. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. What if? But it's like, what about if I give up right now and I don't do it because it's just like, oh my god, in 30 years I'm gonna be in the same spot. Who knows? Who knows what the future has? Like, trust me, I've been in situations, I'm like, give it up to God, and honestly, within 2 months of that time period, it's like it's changed. And they were also showing like, hey, look at this timeline. It's like, I feel like Sunny's our lucky charm, I swear to God. Ever since he's come into our life, a lot of things have changed for the better. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you got to make the most of what it is right now. Don't worry about 30 years. Like, anything can happen. You know what I mean? Like, even in the next 3 minutes, anything can happen. So it's just like, that's why I'm saying either you could live in chaos or you could, live in peace. Because, like, even for today, I'm like, I can't remember what I was overthinking. But last night when I was laying down to sleep and I was like, the situation going on with the house, I was just like, can you help? Like, I pray that goes. Like, you know what I mean? I was putting stuff on Marketplace and I was putting it up for free because I'm just like, let's just get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like, everybody wants something for nothing. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, there, it's free. Like, I just want it out. You know what I mean? And I want, you know what I mean? And it's going to the proper home. She's just like, hey, I can't pick it up today. She goes, I'll pick it up tomorrow. I'm like, perfect. And I forgot I was working overtime. I was like, frig, I'm working overtime. Can I just leave it on the porch? And she's like, yeah, bet. And I was like, perfect. You know what I mean? I'll take it out, put it out on the porch tomorrow. She can come, she can pick it up, and done. Don't have to worry about anything. But you know what I mean? It's just like, even when it's like, like we always like, oh, what are we gonna plan to eat? This, and it's like, you know what? When we wake up tomorrow, let that be tomorrow's problem. Like, unfortunately for me, I forgot to take something out of the freezer, and I'm like, crap. Now what are we gonna do? You know what I mean? It was just a very tiring weekend. I'm tired, and I need to recuperate my energy. So I'm just like, energy in the water, rest, rejuvenation, watching the snacks that I'm eating, so I'm not, you know what I mean? It's just sometimes when you eat the sugary treats, you get a boost, you get a kick in the butt. It's like, listen, energy, let's get this done. You know what I mean? Because Spirit had showed me, they're like, get this done. And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? Because the timeline is up in the air, like it's really out of our control. And I'm very thankful that I am not freaking out or anything. It's just, just move the thing, let's just get it done. You know what I mean? It's just like, it is what it is. That's all you can do. You know what I mean? It's like, it's out of your timeline. You can't control it. It's just go with the flow. That's all we can do. They're showing us the Hermit. So this is information coming in, and they were talking about this timeline from now until like July 15th. That's when the new moon should be. There is the sickle in the sky. I don't know. I didn't see the moon last night unless it came up really late last night. But you know what I mean? It's like more downloads, more information coming in. I feel like this may be like with myself where it's information about like me and Shane's past, like more on his side, things that I didn't know. And I'm like, you know what? It's like, it's been 9 years. I don't need to know this information. No offense. I'm like, thank you for bringing it in. but it's just going to make me upset. And I'm like, you're just, you know what I mean? You get to the point you're just like, I'm just going to keep that happy memory to myself. You know what I mean? I'm going to live in the joyous moments. And be thankful for the time that we had. That's it. Anything else, I don't need to know about. So 2 of Cups. So this could be someone currently in your life that fills your cup and it's like flowing back and forth. I was talking to my girlfriend over the weekend and I'm just like, she's like, thank you for, and I'm like, girl, like, you don't realize, like, when you post your videos, I'm like, you may have not realized that you say things that really resonate with a lot of people. Because she, you know what I mean? She walks parallel to a lot of us, gone through the unfortunate situations of this human life. You know what I mean? And here she is still standing. You know what I mean? All odds. And I'm like, you give, like, myself hope, like, have gone through this transition of losing my partner or my partner transitioning. And it's just like, you think that that's it. Like, there's no more to life. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I'm afraid of flying and all this stuff. And so is she. And it's just like, I'm very thankful that, she speaks these words and she inspires myself. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, just because that happened doesn't mean that you can't go on and do these things. Like all the things, like, we were like, when the boys are older, going to the golf course and going here and going there. And it's like, we can still do those things. You know what I mean? It's just, like, I even was like, Spirit will bring up things and I'm like, yeah, but Shane was here. You know what I mean? Like, I did that with Shane. And they're just like, but I am a half of that team. You know what I mean? It was our determination. It was our hard work. It was our dedication to certain things in our life that got us to where we were going. You know what I mean? So it's just like, anything happened. We just, band together. We're just like, you do this, you do that. And we got it done. You know what I mean? Like, nobody, like, yeah, everybody wants to bitch and complain. You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't? But it's like, we could waste energy doing that, or we could sit there, suck it, like this weekend, suck it up. And it's as much as I did not want to do the things I had to do this weekend, it's just like, I had to get it done. You know what I mean? Spirit was like, I listened. Like, I posted last night too. Channel messages have been very potent. Channel dreams have been very potent. You know what I mean? Angel numbers have been very potent. You guys see this every time we do the video. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, even this is something that's come up before, is the 2112. You know what I mean? So it's just like 444 has been very potent. So that's why I'm saying, like, even though there's a lot of disruptions going on right now, I'm like, if I can make that disruption as easy peasy lemon squeezy as possible, let's do it. Let's take care of it, because of my schedule, and their work schedule is very different. So I'm just like, do the best we can. And again, the timeline is up in the air. Certain things have to be here, materials and stuff like that. What can you do? There's nothing you can do. You can just let go, let God, let him do what he needs to do, make it, you know what I mean? By showing, like, hey, that is going to be a disruption in the thing. It's going to hold things up, So if we can get, like, if when I see them, I'll be like, can I speak to you for a moment? Do you know what windows you're going to start with first? So when we get up, before they get here, we can make sure that area is taken care of, so we can, clear it out for them and they can go ahead and do their thing. When they're done, then we can go ahead and put the things back, so that way it's as least disruption as possible. So that way, when they're done, whatever area they finish working in, we can just done, make it easy for them. Why make it harder? Like, like, what they do is not easy. And I'm very thankful for the situation on one hand, but it's like, you know what I mean? The timing couldn't be worse. But what can you do? You know what I mean? It's just retrograde. What can you do? But this also could highlight relationships currently in your life. So like your kids, you know what I mean? Pouring equally to each other's cup. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I have nothing more to pour. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's been like this weekend. It was a weekend. They're like, can we do this? I'm like, can we do it next time? They're like, no. I'm like, okay. Like, oh my gosh. I'm like, can we do that earlier in the evening? No. I'm like, all right. I'm like, didn't I tell you to do this earlier? No. It is what it is, right? What can you do? The beautiful part of this is that rest and rejuvenation are coming in. After a chaotic period, there's time for rest and rejuvenation. You know what I mean? And this is where there you'll see like beautiful miracles come in. So birds, I've never noticed that bird before. My gosh. But birds may be significant. So like I said, there's a cardinal near us. Like my aunt, when she, God for, she transformed. But you know what I mean? She's like, oh, we don't have cardinals here. Da 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 da. She's like, I hate the. She made me laugh so hard. I really loved her energy. And like I remember when we came here when we were like 8, we were young, and it was our grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary. We all came down for that and celebrated, and it's just you remember how kind she was to us, and the laughs, and you know what I mean, so carefree, like you could just let your hair down when you're with her and her husband. It's just you always remember that, and I'm very thankful for that. You know what I mean? So but she said there wasn't cardinals. So with us, like hearing the cardinals around here, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I follow the photography that a lot of people take in our area, and they were showing female and male cardinals. I'm like, where are you? Like, I would like to see them. Like, we go hiking and everything, and we don't hear them there, but around us, I'm very thankful. Like, the cop is 2 doors down, and you hear it in his backyard very strongly. Like, they come in the tree line, but you can't see them. But that's fine. It's like they're there. You know what I mean? It's a nice, treat that we get, part of home where, we used to hear cardinals all the time. And the blue jays were the rarity. We would have a couple of blue jays that would come. We put a feeder out in the backyard, and they would come once in a while in a feed. And they were the rarity with their blue jays. The cardinals were potent. But this is just, again, this is where we're learning to ground ourselves and ground our emotions. Yeah, we could kick and scream. So 222 is another one. I don't know what I did with, I'm going to have to go through my videos and probably snatch it or go through my photos. But I can't, I was moving my folders around. So I'm trying to keep all my healing stuff in one folder, and so it's easier for me to find when I'm doing personal readings and healings and stuff. And I can't find it, but I'll have to find it again and save it. But 222, I believe 333 is a reminder of our loved ones, ancestors. 2, I feel like it's an abundant number, and it was like an alignment. So I gotta find it again. But this is the thing that they're telling you. This is a sign. So if things have been busy and chaotic, so maybe bees are significant. I know with a girlfriend of mine, she has a beehive in her backyard. She, harvests honey and stuff like that. And bee significant with that. So, or B Wentworth are showing. So I don't know. B for some reason is standing out. But, this is teaching us, like, after this chaos, and that's what I'm saying. It's like with myself going through, I guess, menopause, what do they call it? Geriatric puberty. Patel, she's on here. She's a comedian. She freaking cracks me up. She's like going through geriatric puberty. I'm like, oh my God. But you know what I mean? It's like, this weekend was cool, and I swear I was on fire. I was just like, oh my gosh. You know what I mean? But I haven't been taking my hormone gummies like I should be. It's just, you get so busy and you just like, ugh, you just crash. You don't forget about your vitamins. You're just like, oh my gosh, let me just sit in front of a fan or turn on the air conditioning or something. But this is what they're telling you as you're learning to balance this. So you're not wasting your energy. You know what I mean? Like I can feel the heaviness, like, I don't know. It's like, I feel the heaviness, but I don't know. It's like, I could definitely crash and go for a nap. I feel like Spirit is like, slow down. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's where it's just like, there is, like knockings of something coming in here. So again, knockings, 3 weeks time, something out of the blue. So this could be Cupid's arrow. So love. But I feel like with that, well, I guess for someone that's calling in love, that could be significant. With the 2 of Cups, someone that fills your cup, Gemini, may be significant. But again, this could also be something that you've been calling in, and it's like 3 weeks time. This will be, something that you'll know about. This will be information you'll know about. So I feel like it's just, again, be open to channel angel numbers, pay attention to your dreams, channel messages, third eye. So like, when they show me things, like they were showing, like, I was saying bee, buzz, and I'm like, okay, what are we trying to communicate here? And then they were showing Wentworth, and they were showing bee. So maybe someone wants to dye their hair that has curly hair, because they're showing her red, they called her red. So, something significant like that. But that's what they're saying. Something's coming in here in 3 weeks' time. They're showing a dog. So maybe someone's getting, it looks like a wiener dog, but it has hair, like long, like puffy hair, like a Jack Russell's coloring, but like hair like a Shih Tzu. So I'm not sure what kind of breed that is, but really pretty, really cute. Lady and the Tramp, like her color, like her hair, how her hair was like a little thicker and curlier, but longer, like a wiener dog. So Ace of Wands. So rebirth in our life, fire energy. Oh, I need winter energy. Not winter, fall. Oh my gosh, it's like a couple more weeks and it's like it'll like things will calm down a bit. It's just like, ugh, my word. It's like even me and my oldest always say that. It's like at least when it's colder, you can put like more layers on to warm yourself up or turn on the heat or something. In the summer, it's like you run the AC too much. It's like, oh, you'll be freaking crying or whatever. But they're like cool off in the lake. That's something that if someone had an idea of that. But I love that, like rebirth in our life. And I feel like, when we go through these cycles, like with myself where it's chaotic and it's like, be proud of yourself. You're not freaking out or anything like that. Like, I know I probably won't get much sleep the night before they come, but it's just like, you're doing, like we told you to do something and you did it. You know what I mean? So, you're going to see like how helpful that was because it's like you listened. Like you did the things, like instead of waiting, like I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't even come this week because they still got 2 more to do. But it's just like, if they call me to do it, that's the thing. Anything can happen here. They may already have everything. They're almost done. So it's just like they may already have everything. It's like boom, 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 boom. They knock them all out. Or it could be like just they do those 2 like they did last week and then we're the next week. Who knows? Who knows? But it's just like, try to, like, again, make it as easy as possible for not only them, for us, like, for, where are you going to start so we can, take that off. You know what I mean? Like make it easier for you guys to come in. So, you know what I mean? The whole transition goes easy. So again, calling in the strength card, I post this before, I had, the star card is very temperance, but, strength evolves, you know what I mean? Where it gains its wings, where it's just like, again, showing how, you're open to maturing, to growing, to transitioning. It's like, clearly what we've been doing isn't working. You know what I mean? Like panicking and it's like you're so exhausted afterwards. And it's just, I can't remember what happened, but a situation happened and it's like, and it worked out all in your favor, didn't it? It's like, yes, it did. It's like you were freaking out for nothing. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is where spirit is just like, you freak out, you waste all this energy, you're exhausted. You know what I mean? You emotionally F yourself. You know what I mean? And it's just like, instead of doing these things, let's just trust. And it's not that I don't trust in the universe, it's people I don't trust. Because so many times where I put my faith and trust in people and it's just like, it's gone the other way. So, you know what I mean? It's just like, if you read any spiritual book, that's where it tells you not to put your faith in mere mortals. 18:18. To put your faith and trust in whomever you believe in, even if it's your higher self. So King of Cups, allow the universe to fill your cup. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is where they're saying like rest and rejuvenation. You know what I mean? I feel like you'll still be doing things like I know like, and anything can happen again, but it's just like, I'm like, I know some things I want to take care of. You know what I mean? But it's like no alarms. Like even today, it's just like, I thought I slept in, like, I'm like, oh my God, it must be like 1 or 2 o'clock. And then my alarm goes off like later and I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Because my phone's not beside my bed and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I must have slept in or something. You can hear it in me. I am tired, but this is where I feel like spirit is like, like slow down, but at the same time, they're just like, be mindful of what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's just like, we can see what you're trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? We know what you want to get done. 1919. This is what I mean. Like 1919 at the end of a cycle, the end of a numeric repetition. But allow them to fill your cup. Allow yourself to rest and rejuvenate. Do not feel guilty for putting your feet up. Like even last night, I have my feet up and I'm like, oh, like, what are you doing? You're just watching TV. It's like, so watch TV, relax, put your feet up, It's just like you've been going around like a freaking, tornado all weekend. So, And I'm so thankful that, moving things around, and it's just like, you know what I mean? It's like I visually, can see things. Like I'm very visual, and it's just like, okay, put it here, do this, do that. Like I said, don't put the things on Marketplace, just get it out of the house. Like, it's heartbreaking because it's just like it was part of my kids, upbringing and childhood, and it's like, you know what I mean? But again, it's where she's like, oh, my son will love that. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, well, there you go. You know what I mean? It's just, that's what makes me happy. That someone gets to love on it, as much as my kids did. So, it's hard though. It's hard to see them, transition to that older stage of life, where they're getting rid of their, Nerf guns and going to airsoft guns and stuff like that. It's just, you miss the child's days, you know what I mean? Where we watch Toy Story and stuff like that. I literally made my son watch Hopper with me. Even if he didn't want to watch it, I'm going to watch it again. I like that movie. I thought it was so cute. And we have the sun card. And it's like, you will be successful. Like the sunflowers surround you because of the purity of the situation, the purity of your heart. It's just like, even when nobody's watching, Yahweh Yeshua are watching. And it's like one situation happened with me and my son, and we went and helped someone. And it's just like, instead of pulling out, oh, look at this, da, 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 for clicks. It's like, be a human. You know what I mean? It's just like, my gosh. I keep thinking about her. I pray. I know she's okay. It wasn't, you know what I mean? I think it was more shock than anything. You know what I mean? But, I'm just very thankful that my kids have such amazing hearts. You know what I mean? It's just, you could grow up in certain types of homes and it, you know what I mean? They're going to be who they're going to be. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do about it. And then, you know what I mean? Or you hear situations like, oh my gosh. But I'm very thankful for that. But very grounding energy here, when they're talking about this rest and rejuvenation after this chaos, you know what I mean? That's what they're saying. Like, it will be successful. Everything is going to work out. You know what I mean? It's like even better than you planned. You know what I mean? It's just like we always go to, who was I talking to? And it's like, I always go to worst case. Oh, my girlfriend. And it's, going through this change. And it's like, we're kind of in the same boat where it's like, it's out of our hands. Like, we're just trusting, you know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing, is trusting, whoever our belief system is. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like supporting each other, but just also, you know what I mean? Not saying too much, because it's like, you don't want to exacerbate the situation. You know what I mean? So that's where the grounding energy comes in here. And they're just like they said, like, I know this is going to be chaotic, but once the chaos is done, rest. You know what I mean? Regroup. You know what I mean? With us, where it's like, 3 weeks, we're back to, school. So it's just like, not even 3. Is it 3 weeks? Yeah, 3 weeks. But it's just like, what can you do? That's why it's just like, that's why they're saying, don't worry about the problems of tomorrow. Worry about today. Just, go through the day today. We're doing the best we can. And that's what you got to do. Tell yourself, we're doing the best that we can with what we have. And that is that. That's all we can do. Last card is King of Pentacles. And this is like, this is kind of like where Anastasia comes in. And, she calls herself the manifestation. Is it manifestation? Yeah. Manifestation doll on Instagram. And on TikTok, she's Anastasia. And she, lessons have been learned, but also the fact of where it's just like, every dollar that we spend comes back to us 10 times fold. You know what I mean? But that's not the reason we do things. It's just, you know what I mean? It's also where, Reiki Healing Hope, or Reiki Healing Hope Jet, I feel like it's her backup account, where they, at the same time, the same day, like hours or a day apart, I believe it was the same day, but, I'm not on those, like that, but the same message, like, where you've grown up in a certain situation and it's always underneath the surface because you grew up that way. But like, even like, just like with myself, and I give glory to God, I'm, that's just me, that's who I believe in, but it's just like, perfectly on perfect situations. You know what I mean? 24 is on the timer. So this is where it's just like, sometimes, you can do a little more. Sometimes you have to be responsible. Like my aunt taught me, take care of your things first. Whatever's left over is your man money. You know what I mean? So It's like sometimes you have a lot of bad money, sometimes you don't. We're just like the King of Pentacles, they were telling us, mind your money. Because, winter's coming, hydro bills increase. We're very mindful. We're not wasteful in the way where it's like all the lights are on in the house or anything like that. I'm like, you leave a room, turn it off. You know what I mean? Especially because we know, like, right now, like, the fans are going. You know what I mean? It's just like that. There's no choice in that. It's like those have to get going. You know what I mean? But again, where it's just like showing me, like, hey, do this. So, like, every time I get an influx of money, put it on the hydro bill because I know the fans are going, so it's going to be increased. You know what I mean? So it's, or our air conditioner when we were like almost 45, like, you know what I mean? It's just, we were 107.8 Fahrenheit. And it was just like, we got to put it on. Like, are we going to suffer in it? Like, there's no relief outside. So it's just like, sometimes you got to bite the bullet and, we're not wasteful with the AC either. It's like, when it's days where it's cooler, even though I feel like I'm on fire, it's just like, being mindful of that as well. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I feel like a lot of people are like that. Like, if there's a cool breeze, the window's open. Let the cool breeze come through the window. You know what I mean? Or if it's not like blazing, like we don't put it on until it's like a heat wave. You know what I mean? Like, unless it's a heat wave, then that it doesn't go on. And I feel like a lot of people are like that. Just the fresh air. But fresh humid air. They're like, it's like a blow dryer blowing on you. I'm like, yes, no, we don't need that. You know what I mean? I'm like yelling at the dog, hurry the fuck up. It's freaking hot out here. But, this is where spirit, and I feel like it could also be grounding energies with him, just because we got the sun card before and they're showing the crimson red flag and it's like our root chakra. So again, it's just like allows universe to ground you, because Pentacles is also grounding energies. They're showing the door to value energy oracle cards. So the door opens, it's very Asian theme, where it's like lucky colors of red and gold, jewels, money, coins, you know what I mean? And their yen is in there. So you know what I mean? And I feel like it's what you value. So like your home life and gardening and reading and just sitting outside and listening to the birds. You know what I mean? That's why I feel like that rest and rejuvenation card with the star keeps coming out. It's like, yeah, right now it may be a little, but when you're able to take time for rest, find your rest. Take care of yourself. Drink your water. Put your feet up. Don't feel guilty for watching your favorite show. Like, even myself, I'm like, oh, I should go do this. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, I'm not doing anything crazy today. Like, I was go, like, on my days off. And I'm just like, I'm just going to take it easy. So I feel like that's where spirit is just like, you don't have to just be like, go 100% of the time. You know what I mean? It's just like, the things will get done. Whatever gets done, gets done. If it doesn't get done today, it'll get done tomorrow. Like, you're doing the things. So, you know what I mean? That's the thing. You're listening. And that's a huge thing. You know what I mean? With spirit. It's like, you're hearing us, you're listening to us, we're going to keep bringing that in. So as a healer, or if you pull cards for people or anything like that, it's just like, positive confirmation for you to, invoke those things even more. Keep on doing the things that bring you happiness, the things that where you want to grow, but also remember grounding energies. Sorry, I didn't bring my water down with me. That, you also need to take time to rest and rejuvenate. Even though they pour into your cup, you got to rest and rejuvenate. Didn't we get that? Yep, King of Cups. I feel like it's positive confirmation that spirit's on your side. Sometimes we need that, because you don't get that from everyday people. You know what I mean? It's nice to hear that. You know what I mean? That they're proud of you. They can see the hard work they do. They where people don't want to say those things because they're like, ugh, they're gonna get full of themselves. And it's like, have I ever been full of myself? This isn't gonna be the thing to make me full of myself. You know what I mean? So let them think what they want to think. At the end of the day, that all that matter, and again, this is myself, Yahweh, Yeshua, Divine Creator, Gaia, Mother Earth, higher self. That's all that should matter at the end of the day. Be proud of yourself for doing the things that you're doing, even though you're not, you know what I mean? It's not that you need to hear them, but it's nice to hear it. Like, oh my gosh, look at all the things you did. Like, oh, I'm proud of you for getting that done. You know what I mean? Good job on getting ahead of that, so that way it's not so stressful. It's nice to hear those things. You know what I mean? And honestly, your biggest cheerleaders are going to be the people that you can't see every day. I'll be 100% with you. So, you know, when you get compliments, it's probably hard for you to accept them. You know what I mean? Take those in. Drink those in. Let universe fill your cup. That's what they're talking about there. That, you know, you may not get it from, you know, certain people, but, you know, they're like a broken record, those people. It's just like, they don't even love themselves. How are they going to even love on you? You know what I mean? So, just keep on keeping on. That's all you can do. And you're going to see how this is tarot card death. Major change and transformation that leads to the sun. We got the sun card. This, as much as, because it feels like a loss, and hopefully it's not, you know, I lost someone dear to me last week. But it's like, and that was someone that always cheered us on and always loved us and supported us and made sure we were safe. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very thankful that I have significant people in my life like him that was a big supporter and champion for a lot of us. And even when I was in my 20s, you know, he would come by, like, you know, after work, he would grab a coffee when I worked at Tim Hortons. We would chit chat, and it was nice. Like, you know, I hadn't seen him in a while, and it was nice to talk to him, and you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, get that grounding, you know, that fatherly energy. You know what I mean? Like, I did call him dad, like, you know what I mean? Because he was such a strong force in a lot of people's life. You know what I mean? So, you know, and me and his son were good friends. So it's just like, you know, I was thankful for that time. I even mentioned that to his son. I'm like, I was just thinking about, you know, your fort that you had and all this. And he's like laughing. He goes, yeah, the good old days, right? When we had no problems. I was like, right? Oh my gosh. It's like, we had no idea what was waiting for us in the future, but you know what I mean? I'm just grateful for that kind of thing. So, you know, I know that's what I'm saying. Like, some of it, unfortunately, during retrograde will be a loss. You know what I mean? Fur babies, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. You know what I mean? It's just, hold them tightly, because, you know what I mean? You never know what's around the corner. But thankful for that time. You know what I mean? Like, because they play a significant role. That is unconditional love. That is unconditional support right there. You know what I mean? So, even when they're older and they can't move as fast or whatever, but there's still a lot of unconditional love there. They're showing my sister's dog, Cypress. Such a big baby. He's like a big bear. He acts like a puppy still. He lays all over. He just like drops down on you. That's like a death drop on you. He don't even care. He's like, here, hold me. And he's huge. It's like, oh my god. But you know what I mean? It's just like, he never used to do that with us. So I'm just like, you know what? I'll take it where I can get it. But I always love on him when I see him. I always pet on him and, you know, talk to him and play with him and stuff like that. And while I'm hanging out with my nephew and he's playing video games, and her other dog that comes and harasses everybody. She loves Michael. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like, you know, that's what I mean. Fill your cup with the proper things. This is why I'm saying this purge may suck, but it's just like they're trying to highlight in your life what is the most important. The people that love you unconditionally, not just because they're getting something from you. Is it your time, your energy, your love? It's because they don't benefit from it. You know what I mean? They just, you know what I mean? They just appreciate you, not what you could do for them. That's the biggest thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick, it's not quick, but this quick card pull. May the universe bless you good.